We're going to chat a little bit. You got anything else on CMAs?
No, I'm good.
Next up, we're going to chat a little bit about kind of the, I don't want to say status of your home, but kind of like how your home's completed, what your finishes are, tips to get your home ready to sell, items like that. So let's jump right into that. I thought you said something. We're going to jump right into tips and tricks kind of to get your home sale, and then from there we're going to go to curb appeal. I'm putting my house on the market, Eddie. I've got, you come in and you're like, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z in order to get this. Again, we talk through kind of exactly what we need out of our sale, whether it's timing, whether it's money, whether it's we're selling to buy, buying to sell, whatever it is. You've walked in, kind of what do you see when you go into a home or you're always hitting these points like, hey, this, I'm telling everybody to do this, I'm telling everybody to do that. What are those things?
Yeah, great question. All right, so the thing that I think is one of the most important is decluttering, right? Everybody always hear depersonalize, right? Take all your family photos off the wall. I disagree with that. Now, if you've got 100 family photos on the wall, we might want to scale down a little bit. But I cannot tell you how many buyers I've had that have walked through a house and seen a family picture that's tastefully done, right? That they say, oh, this is a good-looking family. I bet they cared for this house. It automatically puts that house higher on that list. So completely depersonalizing, I don't agree with, but doing that but the decluttering thing is huge. Some of you guys know my mom was a realtor for a long time before I became a realtor. When I sold my first house, of course, my mom sold it for me. She went through this little story with me, and it was kind of eye-opening for me, but I still use it with my clients, right? She said, how many plates do you guys use? And at the time, it was just me and my wife. And I said, well, 2. She goes, okay, take the other 47 plates that you have in there, box them up, put them in the garage, because when they open your cabinets, and they're going to open your cabinets, if they say 2 or 4 plates in there, it's going to look huge. That cabinet's going to look huge. If there's too much stuff in there, it's going to look small.
So same for closets.
Same for closets, right? So what we always say is in an open space, try to have as little as possible. If you haven't touched it in 6 months, go ahead and pack it up, throw it in the garage, throw it in storage.
You're planning on moving, go ahead and start.
That's the easiest start, and then your house presents well. In a closed space, so closets sometimes, maybe not walk-in closets, but linen closets, throw as much stuff as you can get in there as possible. I've had a ton of buyers open up a door and say, oh my gosh, look at how much closet space there is, because it's stuff full. Shut the door and go right on, and that's automatically a positive thought instead of a negative thought.
Yeah. I tell this to my clients too when I walk into their house for the first time. I say, hey, listen, I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. At the end of the day, we've got certain goals. Yeah. My goal is to get you there. And I think it's our job to be sometimes brutally honest and say, hey, this is the problem. We need to figure out how to get this fixed.
Yeah.
I've had houses that were too cluttered and then told them in the listing appointment, that's the feedback we're getting. Hey, we can't even imagine ourselves living here because we can't even walk around. There's so much stuff. I can't imagine my stuff fitting because there's so much stuff. Yeah. You have to declutter, and it might take us coming in and say, hey, we got to get this house deep cleaned. Hey, we got to get these carpets shampooed. Like, they can't look like this. If the top of the market's $1 million and you're wanting $1 million, you got to have a top of the market product. Yeah. And sometimes that comes with some not so nice feedback from us. Yeah. And coming from love, we want the best for you, just like we want the best.
And if you can't do it, right, we just price it accordingly. But I think the expectation needs to be on both sides. Like, if this is what it takes to get this price, it can't be $1 million finishes and $1 million want and $100,000 finishes, right? One of the other things that my mom used to always say was, when you're putting all this together, right, everybody's got to be on the same page. So when you're putting this together, sometimes, well, I guess I should just say it's better when we work together, right? The expectations are just a little bit easier there. Kind of lost my train of thought how I wanted to put that together, but that's okay.
It happens to me all the time. I just ramble for like 30 minutes until I come back to it.
There was 3 minutes of it. So.
Yeah, we'll take it. something Eddie taught me when I came over is when people are looking at homes, they're expecting you to be moving. So don't be scared to pack everything up.
Yeah.
And I told Eddie, I was like, should we tell them to get a storage spot? What should we do? Put it in the garage. People expect garages to be packed full of stuff already because if you look at your garage, you look at my garage, it's packed full of stuff and I'm not moving yet. So like people expect that when they look into a garage space. They don't want that when they walk into the master. As far as cleanliness is concerned, you're walking into a home. I tell my clients it's best a home smells fresh. You want tons of natural light, things that draw you into a house. I'm not ever walking into a dark, smelly place and being like, "Yep, I'm buying this one."
Perfect. Yeah.
Unless I want to flip, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm buying this one."
Yeah.
But you want it to feel like home. You want someone to walk in, and as soon as they hit that front door, they're like, "Wow, this is home." Like it feels that way. It smells that way. It smells clean. It smells crisp. You don't want it to smell so powerful that they're like, what smell are you hiding? But it needs to smell clean.
First impression.
It needs to smell crisp. I'm not saying you got to bake cookies before every showing. I have people like, I got to do this every time. No, you don't have to do it ever.
I mean,
if I'm coming, bake the cookies.
Yeah, that's right. Team Rocket Sox always takes extra cookies.
Yeah, we'll take the cookies. But yeah, make sure that first impression is a wow thing. Which, do you have anything else on this one?
No, so I do remember what I was getting ready to say. The other thing that's important when we are decluttering and all that is what is your competition, right? So it's not all just about your comps and what the value should be on what is closed. It is what your competition look like. And if your competition's new construction in your market or your neighborhood, then your house has got to look, to get that same value, it's got to look as close to new construction as possible. So.
Yeah, I think a great kind of insight on that. I had a client that was selling, they were still building in that community, and it was tough. Like everybody that was coming in, and his product was phenomenal. Like it was as nice, if not nicer, than a lot of new constructions. He did a bunch of upgrades afterwards. We were really pushing on those to be our selling factors. But they could walk down the street to one of the new constructions and get $20,000 incentives and stuff like that. And when you look at it, apples to apples, his product, yes, it was better. Where we lucked out was somebody had to have a product now. They couldn't wait for a product 6 months away. Like they had to have something now. So we kept the price, we kept the strategy, and again, it's where you got to have an agent who's got a little bit of a backbone, who's not scared to waver. We kept the price, kept the product. He ended up selling at what we needed to make it work. And I think that was a prime, because when we started, it was literally everybody was like, "Hey, we're gonna go down the street and build a new one." It was like, well, you can't catch them all.
Yeah,
you can't catch them all. Well, next we're going to roll into curb appeal, that exterior portion of the home. I know for me, I drive by houses all day long. We technically all do, because when we drive down the street, there's houses. But I'm driving by houses all day long, and that's what I'm paying attention to. As an investor, I'm driving around and I'm looking for the house that looks like junk from the road, and I'm writing them a letter. So if you get a letter from me, sorry. But I'm sending it out. And I want people who aren't keeping up with their yard, whose bushes are growing up into their gutters, because when you're flipping a house, that's kind of what you need. You're going to make that street, beautify that street, if you will. But tell us about curb appeal. What do we need to do as far as getting the exterior of the house ready to go?
Yeah, and once again, it's all about timing, right? Making sure that everything works. Pressure washing goes a long way. Fresh mulch, trimming up the bushes. It's just amazing every single time, even with minimal landscaping. It's just amazing how much that makes a difference every single time.
Yeah, make sure your mailbox is not falling over. It's not duct taped up. Like cheap fixes that you can do to really make, when someone pulls up, they're like, again, like they walked into the house for the first time. Oh my goodness, this could be our house. You want that when people pull up. Something I hear all the time, Eddie, is when I'm talking to people about this, like, well, I don't know the people to do that. We do.
Yeah, that's right.
We've got tons of contacts for anything and everything you could want in the real estate realm. Literally, whatever it is, we can get somebody that does that task, especially the yard work and all of that. If curb appeal is something that we've got to get, and again, based on what you need. If you're like, hey, I just want it sold, I don't care. Like, I'm fine that somebody's going to buy it and flip it. That's the price we're going to put on it.
And some of this is talking the markets, right? A couple of years ago, where interest rates were 2.5%, 3%, and there was no inventory out there, you didn't have to worry about curb appeal.
Throw it up there.
That's right. That's right. And if you put money into it, doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get that out in that type of market. That's another really important thing, to make sure that we're paying attention to all the goals and all the needs, so that we can price that accordingly based on where the market condition is and your comparables and your competition.
Absolutely. So get someone who will stand behind you, stand up for you throughout the whole entire contract, and it works for you specifically. Make sure that your curb appeal is good. Make sure that your home is welcome and inviting. Declutter, declutter, declutter. The 3 Ds of real estate. No one ever talks about those. But get that done, and at the end of the day, the most important step is call your local professionals, which that's me and Eddie.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll take that business. Thank you guys for watching. This ends our seller series. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, our contacts are at the bottom of the screen. Don't hesitate to call. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
See you guys.